A compliment as you can. He's played with some great players. He won a Stanley Cup in LA as a youngster, and he said he's maybe the best player I've ever had the opportunity or chance to play with.
Said at least the most skilled player he's ever played with. Getting closer to the season, so closer to NHL lineups. The Islanders have almost their full complement of NHL forwards here tonight. The Devils probably have 2 forward lines that'll be there on opening night and 4 defensemen that'll be there opening night. Goalie matchup, Akira Schmid for the Devils and Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders. Here's Scott Mayfield, who's paired with Sebastian Aho today. They're the top pair for the Islanders tonight. Here's Akira Schmid settling things down. How good was he his last time out? 21 for 21 against the Rangers Thursday night.
Yeah, especially after the Devils had a dominant first 10-15 minutes of that hockey game. The Rangers took over in the second period and really imposed their will, and Akira Schmid was outstanding once again, and that's a great sign for a young goalie. We know what he did last year with a short body of work in the regular season and then the playoff magic, but it seems he's looking to take that next step and be that consistent NHL goaltender.
Luke Hughes' pass didn't get out of the zone, and Ryan Pulock put one that bounced just wide of Schmid. Here's Curtis Lazar, who's been busy, played in 3 of the 4 preseason opportunities. He finds Tyce Thompson. He's played in every preseason opportunity so far. His 4th preseason game of the year as he tries to make the roster on opening night. Tavio Misyul, young defenseman, risks one on, and Ilya Sorokin sees it in his mitt. Our goaltending matchup is brought to you by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today and get behind the wheel of the Audi model you've always wanted. And Akira Schmid's so solid in the regular season, but his breakout performance last year was when the Devils were 2 down to the Rangers, took over and led them to that first-round win. And Ilya Sorokin is always a Vezina candidate between the pipes for the Islanders.
Well, Sorokin they rely on heavily, and obviously he's one of those elite net miners where, quite frankly, I can count him on one hand, and he's certainly in that conversation as far as maybe 4 or 5 guys in the league you would say will be playing more than most goaltenders, even though they got a nice tandem. He's an elite goaltender, and he can win games single-handedly on certain nights.
Here's Graham Clark playing it forward, the 22-year-old forward trying to crack the opening night roster as well. He's primed for a good season this year. Comes ahead to Max Willman. He's here on a professional tryout, and he's played in every game so far this preseason. Shimon Nemec, last year's #2 overall pick, whistles this one wide of goal. Justin Dowling had a piece of it for the Devils. It's taken away by veteran Grant Hutton, the 28-year-old defenseman for the Islanders. Hutton played 16 games in New York 2 years ago. Last year spent the full season in the AHL with Bridgeport. Jesper Bratt starts ahead, playing on the right wing. Hughes at center, Toffoli on the left wing on this Devils top line. John Marino keeps it alive. Bratt a deflection. Sorokin keeps it out. Toffoli's re-trigger is blocked by Mayfield. There's Toffoli battling along the boards, feeds it behind net. It is turned around there, but not out. Jack Hughes swipes it away. 4 points over the first 2 preseason games for Hughes on a goal and 3 assists. Kevin.
You talked about last year, Jack Hughes, and 1 away from the century mark as far as points, 99 points on the season, but it's just not about that. Jack Hughes wants to continue what I love about him, to get better game in, game out, and all the little things, whether it's face-offs, whether it's defensive coverage, whatever it may be. He always talks about, I'm going to be better. Yeah, I need to produce offense, and he's a dynamic offensive weapon, but he's got the will to be the best, and all the great ones do.
Anders Lee on the outside, drops it back to Matt Barzal. It's Barzal, Horvat, and Lee the top line today after Simon Holmstrom played on the top line a couple of nights ago. Michael McLeod drops it back. Tomasz Nosek shots turned away. Here's a backhander from Bastian that's blocked in front. Didn't make it on Sorokin. Colin Miller has it hop over his stick, and Matt Barzal's off to the races. Barzal on the break, he scores! Matt Barzal puts the Islanders on top, 3:44 into this one.
Well, there was a bouncing puck just inside the Islanders' blue line, and Colin Miller was caught a little flat-footed, and it's a little bit unfortunate he can't corral that puck that was bouncing. Barzal's able to skate under it and come full bore on the breakaway. And we talked about him having to have a good offensive year for the Islanders. Well, he makes no mistake here. Look at the quick release and snapshot past the glove hand of Akira Schmid to give the Islanders the lead.
Always going to be pass first, but they need him to finish And he does here. 1-0 Islanders early. Here's Pierre Engvall, just signed a 7-year extension this offseason. His shot goes wide. It's banged ahead by Curtis Lazar. Feels like Lazar could be a really important piece for the Devils this year, playing a fourth-line role.
Yeah, especially a guy that, you know, wins those puck battles. All the little things, the details of the game in tight games that you need to have. We saw it. He'll block shots. He'll finish his check and make it tough on defensemen every shift. And all those little things, those are as important as setting up a goal, scoring a goal in a hockey game in the context of a season, Bill.
Engvall feeds Alexander Romanov, playing his second preseason game coming back from injury. Engvall gets it back. His shot is altered by the stick of Justin Dowling, the veteran depth piece for the Devils here. Max Willman's in, 2-on-1. Willman dekes, he shoots. Sorokin got the pad out. He kept it away.
Well, there's some of the dynamic goaltending of one of the best. Ilya Sorokin there. He was down, he was on his backside, but he's still able to outstretch that right leg as Willman looked like he was going to cut across the crease or try to get it around the right pad, but unfortunately, a big save from Sorokin. There's a nice stick by the veteran Chris Tierney, who also adds some depth in the organization, makes a real good play on Engvall. And right there you see Willman just couldn't quite push all the way across to slide it past the right skate of Sorokin. And he was deterred by the defenseman for the Islanders as well. So big stop by Ilya Sorokin.
Willman played 50 games over the last 2 years with the Flyers. Asked him today what it was about New Jersey that he chose to sign a PTO here, even with the stacked forward group. And he said he thinks the way he plays, his speed, his hard work, fits what New Jersey wants to do. He likes to play fast, he likes to play hard, and he thinks he can find a role with the Devils organization. Kevin Ball has it in his own end. Right now filling that Ryan Graves role next to John Marino as Graves moved on to Pittsburgh this offseason. Ball has looked really confident over his first couple of games for head coach Lindy Ruff.
He has. I mean, sometimes as a young player, in particular a young defenseman, and I went through it when you feel you've arrived, and it's about consistency, and Kevin Ball has to bring that physicality, and he's starting to do that with more regularity and use that long reach, and there's no substitute for size. He's a very difficult man to get around at 6'6", but you can feel that confidence, right? A little bit, Bill. He's just starting to believe, I'm an NHL player. I'm an everyday NHL player, and possibly a top 4 defenseman on my team, and they're going to need him to continue to grow and take those strides.
You know, where I really saw the growth in that game against the Rangers was how confident he was to step into the offensive play. Had an assist on a Jesper Bratt goal, a couple really nice feeds.
Yeah, that was a nice little backhand saucer.
Luke Hughes, look at that smooth skating, gets it down low, and no check fanned on it. How about that wizardry from
baby.
Hughes?
You're going to see a lot of that from Luke Hughes, the young defenseman. We saw flashes last year, but what a move up top inside the Islanders line.
Bastion for McLeod. First preseason game for Nate Bastion, coming back from off-season shoulder surgery. Marino's shot is blocked by Oliver Wahlstrom, another player coming back from an injury last year that the Islanders are hoping will take a step forward this year. Ball blasts it through, looking for deflection, bounces out to McLeod, and he sent it wide.
Well, Devils buzzing the last couple of shifts. Sorokin's been sharp around the net, and they try to get the equalizer.
Shots 3-1 in favor of the Devils, but that one Islander shot, Matthew Barzal on the breakaway to score a goal.
And going back to Miller, the veteran defenseman there, that's a tough puck to handle, and he got caught a little bit in between. And the last guy on the Islanders you'd want to see skate right into that and have a breakaway from his own blue line in is Matthew Barzal, and he made no mistake.
Now it's Curtis Lazar lowering the shoulder. He's taken out of the play by Grant Hutton, who wrestled him down to the ice. Chris Tierney changes directions, looking for Tice Thompson. A strong stick from Barzal defensively broke that up. Blast from young Daniil Misiul is high over the boards. 22-year-old Russian defenseman that the Devils brass is really high on for the future.
Yeah, he's shown very well in this camp thus far.
Lee's pass in through the slot, bounces away. Good little scrum in the corner as Bo Horvat moves it. Anders Lee had it jabbed off his stick by Shimon Nemec, now 19 years old. Played a full season in the AHL last year. What have you seen so far this camp from him, Dano?
You know, he's got great instincts on the ice. He understands the game well. Yeah, he's going to have defensive lapses here and there. I just think he's going to be a real good, solid two-way defenseman. He's shown offensive instincts that you want to see from a young defenseman in today's game as well. And I think he's going to be a real good one. If not right out of the gate in the start of the season, but certainly in the near future for this Devils team.
You know, the cliche is the game slows down for players as Engvall comes in. Nemec said the game doesn't feel slower yet, but he said he feels faster this year, so he thinks he can make those quicker decisions. Pulock changes direction, gets it down low to Engvall, centering feed, score! Brock Nelson taps it in off a nice sequence of passing from the Islanders.
Well, I think Willman lost his stick up top, and that allowed Pulock to have all kinds of time with the puck. You talked about that move as he was inside the Devils line, and right here the shot. Willman's stick broke, so he has to drop it. Now Pulock ends up getting the puck back and is able to make a little move. Gets it to Engvall right there. Nobody ties up Brock Nelson's stick in front. And they're late to react, and the Islanders take a 2-0 lead. That one, the coaching staff will take a look at after the first period and say, guys, we've got to make sure we're lifting sticks or tying up sticks around the net. The assignment was lost defensively.
Bratt tried to slide it through to Toffoli, skips around to Nemec. His shot is blocked away by Julien Gauthier. So it's the second goal of the preseason for Brock Nelson. Assist to Pierre Engvall and Ryan Pulock. 2-0 Islanders over the first 8.5 minutes here. You know, night one of the preseason was great for the Devils. Crushed the Flyers at home. Split squad also got a win in Montreal. They picked up wins against the Rangers and the Flyers, but Lindy Ruff has said he hasn't felt like they've played all that clean in those games. Wanted them to be cleaner, stronger in the defensive end coming into tonight's game, but right now it's the Islanders coming off a good performance against the Rangers 2 nights ago that have been on the front foot. Nate Bastian turning it back around, his preseason debut. Bastian turns away from Carson Coleman in his first year with the Islanders after spending last year in Seattle and Winnipeg.
We'll check with a big collision behind the net. And let's see if the Devils respond. They've had a couple of, defensive miscues. A little bit unfortunate that Willman's stick broke as he blocked the initial shot. It ended up going back into the Devils' corner, and then Pulock up high. So difficult to defend when you don't have a stick. So it's almost like an outnumbered situation. But nobody got back in front of that net on that second goal. Everybody too late. 2-0 Islanders. Brock Nelson with the second one.
Game here against Barzal's line, and it's something that if they can really formulate the chemistry here, not only will they be a 5-on-5 shutdown pairing, but also potentially on the penalty kills. We saw last year, that's how assistant coach McGill used Graves and Siegenthaler, as well as Marino. So this is something you guys talked about a little bit earlier about Kevin Ball really needing to step up here and show that he can handle these minutes. And if he can do that.
There's a goal, John Marino from the blue line.
Right on cue there, guys.
Kevin Ball slid it across. Marino uses the screen. And Sal, so far so good for that pairing as the Devils are within one.
Well, just as you talked about, they need to have some defensive prowess, Sal. John Marino gets the Devils on the board, and it's just good hustle by Jack Hughes. He actually loses the draw, but he hops around and able to retrieve the puck back. Gets at the ball, quick pass to Marino. Get in front of that. You got to disrupt goaltenders as good as guys like Sorokin, and Bratt crisscrosses through the crease. Seeing eye shot, quick wrister from the point, and the Devils got themselves on the board. It's 2-1 Islanders now, but real good work again. Just heads up from Jack Hughes as he hopped past Bo Horvat, I believe, on the draw there, and he's able to get that puck back to Kevin Ball with some time and space.
So that's Hughes' 4th assist to go along with a goal in just 2 preseason games plus a period. Kevin Ball picks up his 3rd assist in 3 preseason games. He's been active on both ends so far during this camp. Sal, do you see that offensive game as something that you think he can continue to develop as he grows into it here too? We'll get back to Sal in a minute. Here's Barzal playing it back to Horvat, high slot. Horvat feeds the blue line, a blast from Hutton's high over the crossbar and skitters around Alexander Romanov. Now Barzal takes it back, slides it over, and Brock Nelson finds it in the corner. Nelson working with Engvall. and do 4 today on the second line. Romanov's pass down low is knocked away from Barzal. So seeing a bit of a hodgepodge in the top couple lines for the Islanders now as Barzal's out with Nelson and Engvall. He'd been paired with Horvat through his first couple of preseason appearances.
Yeah, a little bit of a tough shift here, and finally they do get it out. And it's, you know, Willman Clark not as experienced in Dowling out against Horvat and Barzal, and that'd be difficult for any youngsters, but they finally do get the job done, and no damage as the Islanders spent that whole shift in the Devil's zone.
By the way, officially, Tyler Toffoli has picked up the second assist, not Jack Hughes on that goal. So Toffoli must have gotten a touch on the puck as he sent it up toward Ball. So it's Toffoli's second point of the preseason, a goal and an assist now.
It started with Jack Hughes' quick reaction after a lost draw.
The youngster Odelius fires one high. Go ahead, Dana.
No, and I think you're right, Bill. I think Toffoli maybe got it back. The Ball there. We're still not seeing as many replays here in our preseason, but I wasn't sure he touched that puck. But I liked what Jack Hughes did, is the bottom line, off the face-off in the actual loss.
Nemec's wrist shot with Tierney screening was patted away by Sorokin. And now Hughes, a takeaway at center ice. Worked it away from Casey Cizikas, spins it back, has it bumped away by Matt Martin. 2/3 of the impact line here tonight. Martin and Cizikas. Cal Clutterbuck gets the night off, and Julien Gauthier slides in. Feels like Gauthier would be a good fit on that line if there ever is an absence for one of the other three.
Nice escape there by Nemec right there in the corner. He was under pressure, liked the poise there, and got it up ice with the quick spin around.
Oh, look at that pass from Jack Hughes, working it down low. It's knocked away from Daniil Misiul, but that was silky again. Hughes is pressured by Oliver Wahlstrom and sent back towards center ice. Jack maybe created a new word today talking about that line that he has with Jesper Bratt and Tyler Toffoli. He said, we have good chem, abbreviating chemistry. And it does seem like so far, obviously we know that Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes play well together, but Toffoli's fit in very nicely.
You'd expect him to, and it's going to take some time.
Hutton drives it, kick save Akira Schmid. Romanov shots deflected by McLeod up off the netting. Devils get one back. John Marino's on the board for the...
So it's going to be exciting out here, and you're going to look for these names that are trying to establish themselves from here on out, but the big guys are going.
Yeah, we've got a close one going right now. 6:26 to play. Bill and Dano, send it back to you.
All right, well, Thomas, that second line for the Islanders has produced a goal as well. Brock Nelson off an assist from Pierre Engvall. That second line out there now, Nelson centering Engvall, and the youngster, 21-year-old William Dufour, big physical frame, 6'3", 195. Really solid in the AHL last year at 69 points. I know the Islanders are looking forward to him as a future part of this team and maybe even a present part of this team as well. We'll see if he can find a way to crack opening night roster.
And they need some youth injected in their lineup. We know they're a little bit of an older lineup, the New York Islanders, and Dufour's got all the makings of being that kind of power forward, big, strong kid who can put the puck in the back of the net as well.
Here's Tomasz Nosek dumping it in. Nosek was the fourth line center for the Bruins during their historic run last year. The fourth line, as it could be constructed, you could possibly have McLeod, Lazar, Nosek together. Here's Luke Hughes faking. Hughes drops it back, skips away from Tyce Thompson. We got a penalty coming on the Islanders, but quickly, that fourth line could have 3 plus 50%, even plus 55% face-off guys there, which could be a real value in close games this year.
And again, the details and all the little things matter, and the more you win face-offs, the more you don't give up scoring chances. And you see Luke Hughes getting involved offensively again. Tried a nifty backhand pass, but it didn't connect with Thompson. One more look, the little fake. He sees the ice so well. He's got such creativity, and that ends up drawing a penalty to the Islanders for a slash.
It's a slash on William Dufour, so it sends the Devils' power play to work. New assistant coach Travis Green running the power play as Andrew Brunette is on as the head coach at Nashville this season. We wish Bruno lots of luck. So far, though, this particular Devils unit with Luke Hughes quarterbacking, Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, Tyler Toffoli, and tonight Justin Dowling as well, has been really good. They've moved pucks well. They've created good chances in their 2 previous preseason games. Hughes flips this one to his brother, and Jack Hughes settles it down. Jack loops behind net as Bratt at the dot. Comes up to Luke Hughes straight away. Luke's pass for Jack under his stick. Jesper Bratt tracks it down at the blue line. Going to get it down low for Toffoli, who scored 17 power play goals last year with Calgary as part of his career-high season. Right now, what we have seen, Lindy Ruff has kind of separated his top couple of lines into the different groups during this preseason. And you're seeing the makings of possibly two very balanced power play units. Instead of like a first and a second unit, you could really have a 1A and a 1B if they stick together.
Certainly the depth, talent, and skill is there for this Devils lineup. And
Luke Hughes' wrist shot blockered away by Sorokin. Just 45 seconds left on the DeForest slash, so we'll get changes for both sides.
It's all about execution, Bill. We've seen so often teams that have a lot of skilled players. Sometimes maybe they make one too many passes, and that's something I talked to Travis Green a little bit about before the game, and implementing a little simplicity in their power plays. I want them to be creative. I know they've got a lot of skill, but when the open lane is there, shoot, go to the net. All those things coaches preach for the last 20, 30 years in the National Hockey League on the power play, even though today's game a little more speed and creativity, it seems.
Second unit hasn't established anything as Engvall takes it away from Shimon Nemitz, and it's cleared down the ice. Devils get one shot on the power play, do not score, and still trail 2-1 with 3.5 minutes to go in the opening period of this preseason game. Lazar goes right over the top of Barzal. It's just incidental contact there, but he went for a bit of a ride.
Collision inside the Islander blue line there. And both guys get up. No.
Horvat retreats.
No wear and tear. Fortunately for both guys, you never want to see anybody get banged up on a coincidental contact.
Yeah, that is the most important part of the preseason, is you get through the preseason healthy. That's the #1 goal before anything else. Wrist shot didn't make it through. It skipped off Kevin Ball. We've got a penalty coming on the Devils.
Kevin Ball gave Anders Lee a little cross-check from behind as that shot was coming up high. So he'll go to the penalty box when we return. Islanders up 2-1. That's the cross-check, shove from behind, whatever it may be, and they have a few words. But I want to see that once in a while from the Devils defenseman, in particular Kevin Ball. So this is the type penalty. No, you don't want to take penalties consistently during the regular season. I know it's tough because for a defenseman to defend, they call a lot of that, but I want to give top players a rough ride once in a while. You can't let them be too comfortable around the net, so go kill it for Kevin Ball here.
Well, it sets up an Islanders power play that was a major weakness last year, just a shade over 15% of the man advantage. Lane Lambert wasn't all that pleased with how the power play looked Saturday night against the Rangers as well. They start with Barzal, Horvat, Nelson. Down low to Wallstrom, was a clean look at goal, and Schmidt got a piece of it right on the doorstep.
So close, but somehow that stayed out. Islanders have plenty of skill on their power play with Barzal's going and dishing, and then you got Lee and Nelson, who had a terrific year for them. So it's very capable of being a good, solid power play. But last year, you're right, Bill, not as good as they wanted.
Aho playing the point tonight, though you'd assume when you have the full lineup, Noah Dobson will likely occupy the point on that first power play unit for the Islanders. Here's Jesper Bratt shorthanded. He goes toward goal. He's dispossessed by a good stick check from Brock Nelson. One theme of this preseason for the Devils and the Kill is they have been very aggressive shorthanded. You feel like they could score a boatload of shorthanded goals this year.
Well, they certainly have guys that on the penalty kill can turn something into offense on the penalty kill. You're absolutely right. And the Devils in on the forecheck. Nate Bastian giving the Islanders a tough time coming up ice as they enter the Devils zone now, though.
Final 40 seconds of the power play. Ishikov in front of his shot knocked away. Second unit out for the Islanders. Pierre Engvall on the puck. Works it out to Ryan Pulock. Now Ruslan Ishikov with a strong year in Bridgeport last year. Ishikov spilled the puck away. Nate Bastian flips it down the ice, and there's just 15 seconds left on this Islander power play.
He lost the puck. Ishikov with one too many stick handles, fortunately for the Devils, and they're able to regain it and get it down the ice.
Ishikov runs into Nemitz and is dispossessed there. Spin back from Jack Hughes, and we're back to even strength. 2 shots on the Islander power play. Called 0 for 1 on the night. Hughes with a turn of speed, keeps the puck on his tape, feeds Jesper Bratt. Wrister is waffle boarded away by Sorokin.
You know, Bill, going back to that ball penalty, and what I mean by that, no, you don't want to be taking penalties all the time, but an aggressive penalty like that once in a while, you know, keeping top players honest, big players, strong players like Lee honest, that you want to disrupt them as well. Lee wasn't happy about it, rightly so.
Cizik gets an intercept off a Luke Hughes giveaway, but he couldn't complete a pass across the ice to Matt Martin.
Well, Devils get a break there. That was trouble on the giveover, or the turnover from Hughes there, and he's a guy that's going to do a lot of great things with the puck, and yeah, there's going to be some mistakes along the way. He's got to be a little more sure-handed there.
Final 10 seconds of the first period. Islanders leading 2-1 on goals from Matt Barzal and Brock Nelson. John Marino with the lone marker for the Devils. Hutton loops it behind goal. Marino intercepts, and that is that for the opening 20. 2-1 Islanders after the first period. We'll be right with Ken Danico and Islanders analyst Thomas Hickey. Bill Spalding, glad to be with you. Hicks, welcome to our spot here at the Prudential Center. What did you think about the first 20 minutes for the Islanders?
I thought the pace was really good, and I'm looking for guys to step in, maybe earn jobs, win jobs, but I think the most encouraging thing you saw was the camaraderie between the guys like Barzal and Horvat and Engvall and Nelson. They picked up where they left off, so I think that's an encouraging thing for the Islanders. It was a good first period.
And Dano, your read on the first 20 minutes for the Devils?
Well, I think they got a little careless defensively on a few occasions, in particular both the goals, really. I know a bounce, a break, a stick breaks, but those are things that other guys have to step in and play, fill the lane defensively. So I thought they were a little careless. Islanders took advantage. They've got a lot of their top forwards in the lineup. They'll make you pay, like Barzal did on a breakaway from his own blue line. And you talk about that, Thomas, with the Islanders and Barzal and them getting their chemistry and feeling good about each other. They're so important, right? Horvat, after getting acclimated last year, was up and down a little bit, but they're going to need him and Barzal to really have top seasons for them to put the puck in the net enough, because Nelson was one of those guys that had a great year, but you get Barzal, you get Horvat doing what they're capable of, and it makes them that much more dangerous as a team.
Yeah, it is. It's critical for them because they want to take the next step. Obviously a playoff team, but they want to go somewhere else, and Horvat was so good when he came over. Him and Barzal, it clicked immediately, and then Barzal got hurt, and from that point on, they had a tough time establishing that again. So to see it early on, really encouraging, I think, for the coaching staff, for fans that want to see more offense. Those two guys can provide it if they're feeling it like they have been.
Tyler Toffoli taken down. We have a delayed penalty coming on the Islanders. There's the touch-up, and the Devils will go to the power play for the second time tonight. Like Jack Hughes' speed in transition starting that rush caused the penalty, and William Dufour will spend 2 more minutes in the box tonight.
Not the best thing. You're trying to make a name for yourself, and I understand as a young guy, you've got so much energy. It's one of your first preseason games. You're trying to do something that's going to stand out to the coach, and sometimes those stick infractions can get in the way. So he's holding his breath here for 2 minutes. You hope nothing happens if you're him.
It looked like he wasn't real happy with the call, and I'm not going to disagree with him. He gave a little subtle shove he tried to get away with, and Toffoli was thrown off balance because he didn't expect it. So he gets the call. Devils try to tie it up, but I thought it might have been a little bit weak for a preseason game as a call.
Devils hockey brought to you by RWJ Barnabas Health, the official healthcare provider of the New Jersey Devils. Because that first line had a long shift, Devils start with their second power play unit, quarterbacked by 19-year-old Shimon Nemitz, who we have a near turnover in front. Nemitz takes it back. Hicks, folks might not remember, you spent some time here in camp last year with the Devils, and you were actually paired a bunch with Nemitz when he was fresh off being drafted. What did you think about his game playing alongside him?
Yeah, rewind a year ago, and I'm excited to watch him and see how he's grown since then. But my first take on him is he's a natural. He does a lot of things that are difficult, and he makes it look really easy. He's someone that reads the play really well. Obviously, he's 19 years old. He's going to take a while to understand things in his own end, right, Dano? That takes time. But for him, just the way he sees the ice, a lot of things come natural to him that don't to other players, and I think that's going to be his strength. And it's going to take time defensively, of course. Yeah. I'm excited to see where he slots in offensively with this group and how much he can bring in that regard.
Tyler Toffoli winded fire. Shot was blocked on the slide by Sebastian Aho. First unit out for the Devils now. Jesper Bratt has it. Bratt to Foley, Dowling, Hughes, and Hughes. Jack across, Bratt scores! Oh, we've seen those two hook up so many times. Jack Hughes to Jesper Bratt.
Well, that was an absolute rocket of a one-timer. A bomb from Jesper Bratt, and it was a crisp pass through the seam from Jack Hughes. Let's take a look at our $1 Million replay brought to you by the New Jersey Lottery. Remember, anything can happen in Jersey, and we saw this a little last year, Bill. That seam pass And Jack Hughes has the capabilities to put it right in the wheelhouse of Jesper Bratt, and he blows it by Sorokin. Can't quite get set. That's the key to that play is when you make that one-time pass, it's got to be right in the wheelhouse. So an elite goaltender like Sorokin can't get set, and somehow Bratt whistles it by. We're tied at 2. And Jack Hughes and Bratt connect, what we saw a lot of last year, whether it was 5-on-5 or on the Devils power play. That is your New Jersey Lottery $1 million replay.
Bratt from Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes. So it's the 5th point of the preseason for both Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes. A goal and 4 assists for Hughes, 2 goals, 3 assists for Bratt, who said it's nice to have that contract weight out of his head. Know he's here for 8 years and can just focus on hockey moving forward. Good feed from McLeod, and Nocek blasted it wide. Ball broke his stick. Nocek finds it under some pressure from Nelson. Comes to McLeod again, brimming with confidence after his playoff run last year when he was one of the Devils' best players during the postseason. Couple goals already this preseason for McLeod, who's defended by Nelson in the corner. McLeod feeds the blue line. Here's Bratt circling again. Down low to Daniil Misiul. Good puck possession here from the Devils, 5-on-5. Marino spins away from a check, lost the puck. It is sent back to Nelson. Gets it ahead to Engvall, and the Islanders needed that shift after they were pinned back there for a while.
Yeah, Thomas, I want to go back a little bit when you talked about Nemitz and you playing a little bit with them in training camp last year for the Devils. And aren't we seeing young defensemen, even 18, 19 years old? It seems more so than my time, and you've seen it throughout your career where
oh, look at that pass, but Horvat couldn't finish. It was dropped back to the blue line. Now the Devils go 2-on-1. Jesper Bratt's got it. He shoots. He scores! His 2nd goal in a matter of minutes, and the Devils lead.
A little end-to-end action. Islanders missed a great opportunity at one end on a pass through the crease in an outnumbered situation, and the Devils zip it up ice quick. Bratt to Toffoli, and look at the little saucer pass, all the subtle things of a veteran forward like Toffoli, and the speed of Jesper Bratt just gets him back in the hole. It becomes a 2-on-1. And look at this quick release. He just hesitates and somehow finds a little opening between the 5-hole under the left pad of Sorokin, and the Devils score 2 quick goals in short order to take a 3-2 lead.
Back-to-back years with 73 points for Bratt. We'll see if he can go over the top of that this year. Hicks, that was one of those plays where it was so close to a goal on one end, Horvat just couldn't connect. Islanders had committed a lot forward, got caught the other way.
Yeah, that's what separates the New Jersey Devils. You watch a lot of hockey, not many teams can turn it that quickly, and it takes the skill and the finishing ability for sure. But you saw heads up right away. Toffoli was anticipating the play. That's what makes the New Jersey Devils so dangerous at all times. It can go from defense to offense just like that, and you see the result.
And they almost went down 3-2 on one end, right, Hicks, and then they turned it into a positive quickly.
On the Islanders' end, when you're playing a team that likes to go up and down like the Devils, do you have to just be a little bit more cautious about how much you commit forward?
You check your shoulder, right? You see, obviously, there you want to encourage your defensemen to get up in the play. That's the name of the game in the NHL now. You need 4 guys in the attack, but you also got to take a look over your shoulder. And if that thing gets turned over, someone's got to be hedging their bet just a little bit to make sure there's no odd man rushes like there was there. But it is preseason, and I think those things of the awareness, you need one example to remind you, and then usually from that point on, you figure it out.
And that's working the kinks out in preseason, right? That's what preseason
right.
is for, to make sure going in the regular season, all the little things and checking your shoulder and making sure you got a lane filled. But Bratt got up ice pretty quickly, and it was a real nice feed from Toffoli. To finish my thought on Nemitz, meaning all these young defensemen seem to have so much poison and confidence in their game. I don't think Nemitz is any different. Yeah, he's had some mistakes in camp, but I just think he can be a really good, solid two-way defenseman, thinks the game so well.
I think he's going to play for a really long time and be a really good player for a long time. And part of that, Daniel, you talk about mistakes. The game's changing. You got to let young guys make mistakes now. You saw Luke Hughes throw one through the middle on his backhand. Not a good play. Okay, you can live with it because you know what he's going to bring. And I think with the New Jersey Devils, they do a good job at making sure that these guys don't get down on that. Play to your game, and you make a mistake, let's fix it, but don't get your head down from it. And I think that's important for these young defensemen.
Yeah, that's a great point.
A theme of this Devils group last year was how resilient they were. They led the league in come-from-behind wins last season, so it didn't seem like a team that really rattled all that much if they did make those mistakes early. Here's Toffoli again, flips it forward for Jesper Bratt. Bratt said one of the things that has allowed Toffoli to fit so well with him and Jack Hughes is he sees the lanes that they see. You think about Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt, they're so creative, but Toffoli sees it. Here's Engvall the other way, and he scores! Pouncing on the loose puck to tie the game at 3.
We've got a shootout here.
Yeah,
Here,
the second
Engvall.
period.
This is a guy that surprised me with just how quick he was. I knew he was a good skater, but when there's loose pucks, when there's races, he's often the first guy, and this is all about speed. And Dano, you know, we didn't score too many goals. If you've got a wobbling puck, take the shot, right? You see this puck, as the replay goes on, it's on edge, and for a goaltender, you don't know where it's going to come off his stick, so just a good idea with people closing in to get a quick shot off, and that one found the back.
He has such a long, powerful stride. Nemeth got caught in between, young defenseman there. He tried to bat that puck out of midair, and that's thought process. Probably got to turn quickly or glove it down. He tried to swipe at it with a stick, knock it down with his blade. He's unable to. Yeah, it's settled down perfect for Engvall, but great recognition by him to use those great wheels, long, powerful stride, and the quick snapshot.
That's two very similar Islanders goals. The first Islander goal from Barzal, a bouncing puck over Colin Miller's stick where he got caught in between, and now this one from Engvall after Nemeth gets caught in between.
Hey, the game is so fast now, and I know you'd mentioned a little bit of that and alluded to it, Thomas, that, boy, if you don't make a quick decision on do I stay in and try to keep the puck in, or do I hightail it out, there's no way I'm getting that bouncing puck, it'll cost you quickly.
And I always played with rules. You know, it was black and white to me. Am I staying in or going? Well, it depends on the situation, and you're not feeling it out as the puck comes up. And I think as a young defenseman, you learn that as time goes on. I think, Dano, for you probably knew when you were going in and the times you were staying back because that's your strength, obviously. But you know that the times, if it's going to be a 50-50, just don't go.
You're absolutely right. But under Jacques Lemaire, when he was coach here, I got to be honest, Thomas, he said, Dano, you'd better be 110% sure. Don't get caught because you're not Scott Niedermayer. You can't get back quick enough. However, he knew if I was steamrolling down the boards for that puck, there's a good chance I'd take two guys out and keep the puck in some fashion.
Go bowling.
A little different way.
Schmidt stops that one.
For Brad's first goal, one thing that we didn't talk about very much was when Jack Hughes now, because he's that dual threat, he can shoot off the flank, he froze Sorokin. And then when you can make that cross-seam pass in a one-timer position, very difficult for a goalie to get over, as we saw there in Brad Barrett, that one-timer.
Sal, I think Jesper Bratt is set up to have a massive year this year. He is famous for how hard he works out in the summertime. He told me last week he does think he's a little faster even than he was last year, and he has controlled his speed even better to quickly cut out of those speed moves and be able to make plays on the puck as well. See if he gets over that 73-point mark and breaks out to say an 80 or 90-point season this year. Kevin Ball jumping in, puts it on. His shot was blocked. Alexander Romanov's had a strong game in his second game.
Ripped it off the pipe there.
Yeah,
off the face-off.
He hadn't played in a long time. He missed a bit of training camp early on. And this is the guy that played his first game on Saturday. You know how physical he is.
Yep.
It took him all but a minute to get a bump in right away. He looks like himself already, and a guy that played so well in the second half of the season. They want him to take a big step. They gave up a big price to get him, and I think he's coming around.
And how can we forget the massive hit he put on Miles Wood?
I still can hear that one.
First, 4-6 weeks of the season. That really sent Miles Wood back. Good, clean, hard hit. But I think it kind of, rattled Wood to the point that it took him time to get his game back after such a thunderous hit like that.
Wood now in Colorado signed a big deal with the Avalanche. Tomas Tatar also signing a one-year deal with the Avalanche. So the Devils will see those two old friends in early November. Those teams meet November 7th in Denver.
And you know what, Dano, for a defenseman to have an open ice hit, I always think you need hockey sense to do it. It's all about timing and reading a play. And you were a guy that was extremely physical. You have to have some hockey sense. It's all about who makes the little plays to line up in time. An open ice hit for a defenseman, it shows you that there's some hockey sense there.
No question. I mean, he's got the capabilities to really, change a game, or certainly.
Ishikov throwing one in front, and Schmidt knocks it away.
Keeping forwards on their toes and heads up,
Yep.
and that makes you not handle the puck as clean and crisp as you may like when you look at certain defensemen that are on the ice. If you do it with consistency, doesn't get caught, because it is a timing play. Thomas, you're absolutely right, because you can get burnt by a speedy, smart player who's got his head up. But he does it very well, and he wants to continue to grow as a defenseman for sure, and that's a big part of his game.
Yep. Luke Hughes is clipped down by Casey Cizikas. Jesper Bratt down low to help with the board work. Hughes puts an elbow toward Matt Martin. Now Cizikas bumps into Tyler Toffoli. Mayfield a hold at the blue line, will send it around. He probably got, what, 3/4 of the opening night forwards for the Islanders out here tonight. And what, 3 of their 6 defensemen most likely as well?
Yeah, you could say that. This is a group that's looking a lot like it will on opening night. Obviously, there's guys that are in tonight, and guys like Dufour right here. Yeah, I'm interested to see if he can get his shots off. He's a guy that's got a really good release, and now you come to the NHL level from the American League and Junior. It's tougher to find that time. So out of all those guys, he's one that's nipping right there. We saw him get in the penalty box. I know he wants to stay out of it, but he's a guy that they're pretty high on here.
Toffoli's shot was blocked after another good pass from Jack Hughes. They really have meshed together so well in just about 2.5 weeks' time. Hughes turns away from Grant Hutton, comes on back, and is sent forward by Romanov back to Brock Nelson. Another young guy we've seen a bit, the 19-year-old defenseman Kalle Odelius. Obviously, this is just a taste for him, but what are you expecting him to gain if he, say, spends the year in Bridgeport this year?
Yeah, I think just experience. It's a young defenseman. You're getting reps, but you're playing the North American game, and I think that's the biggest adjustment for anyone coming from somewhere else. Him being a Finnish guy, similar game over there. The rink's not quite as big as the other international places, but that's always an adjustment. You got to figure out your spacing. So for him, I think it's just getting his feet wet, and I'm not sure particularly.
Oh, how about the nifty work from Marino, and he stuck it in off Sorokin. John Marino's second today. Is that John Marino or is it Jack Hughes?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I'm going, what a move and slippery hands from John Marino. And yes, he's got some offensive ability, but known more for his defensive stalwart. Well, he winds it up through the neutral zone. And there, was that Romanov there?
So when we're talking about physicality, right? Probably tried to go for the hit when maybe you play a little more stick on puck there. It sort of got caught. Looked like he was in between going for a hit or going for a poke check.
Very fortunate bounces. Yep. I think it was Hutton that went down, ends up going off his skate. He probably shouldn't go down there to his feet because that's the only reason it goes off his skate, and that's maybe trying to do a little too much. But both goaltenders, I would think, are going to say to their team, guys, can we tighten up just a little bit? Because there's been glorious opportunities and 7 goals already.
Kevin Ball rips it wide. 7 goals on just 22 shots. And these are not AHL goalies. You got Ilya Sorokin and Akira Schmid in the 2 nets tonight. Here's a chance in front. Marino put it over the bar looking for the hat trick. And Sorokin covers. John Marino having himself a night. Devils lead 4-3. Lane Lambert, Lindy Ruff would prefer a bit of a tighter game at this point. They're going to have a lot to talk about coming out of here.
Not how you draw it up. No coach likes to give up breakaways. 2 for the Islanders. It's not what you want, but what do? You're halfway through the game. I think each coach is going to be on their guys to tighten it up a little bit here.
Yeah, I would think so. There's been some mistakes, but it's certainly been action, a lot of fun. We know players love offense, right? Yeah. Hicks and these guys, both teams, have created and had great chances, and thus 7 goals so far.
Dan, I'm curious if you think John Marino, with Damon Severson and Ryan Graves both gone, Severson to Columbus, Graves to Pittsburgh, might feel like there's an opportunity for him to step up and pitch in a little more on offense this year.
And I definitely think that's a good point, Bill. Having said that, he's got the capabilities to chip in even more offensively, but he's smart about it because they need him to be that shutdown guy. It's when the opportunity's there. It's a balancing act. He's a guy that is a pretty intelligent hockey player, and I think you might see a little more of it when need be, if the Devils are behind in a game or whatever it may be, that he needs to join the attack a little more.
Is this my monthly reminder? You mentioned that he's smart. Well, he did go to Harvard, so shouldn't be.
You know
all that
what?
surprising.
I wasn't even thinking that, but everybody that goes to Harvard is smart, right, Hicks?
You have to be, right?
And Hicks, we look at these numbers from last year. Obviously, the Islanders, a team that has relied on their defense. I'm curious what you have seen from the power play, because that's an area where if you can steal 10, 15 more goals this year on the power play, you turn a lot of close losses into wins.
Yeah, I don't think many teams can make the playoffs being a power play as inefficient as they were last season. They need to get up there. I don't think it's a matter of going through pains again. They need to do it, and for me, it starts with their entries and their break-ins. You've seen it tonight, a little bit improved, but they've got to enter the zone with possession. You start every power play in the offensive zone, but it's always going back, and you need to gain that possession. That's what they struggled with the most, and from then on, it's sort of an uphill battle. So I think for them, that's got to be the big focus. But so far, there's been some changes.
Here's Toffoli sliding it back. Extra pass for Bratt. Moves it to Hughes. He scores! Tic-tac-toe. How good could that trio be?
Well, talk about zipping it around. I mean, no goaltender is going to stop this wicked shot. And as that puck is tic-tac-toe to his right, Bill.
Toffoli, Bratt, and Nemitz all get touches on it before Hughes puts it away.
You know, real heads-up play by the youngster Nemitz there with the one-touch pass. And then the Devils with a couple of more over to Hughes from a pretty sharp angle, but he wires it.
And Ilya Sorokin, we know how good he is, right? And obviously, this isn't his best, but I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack. That's been twice. You saw Jack Hughes freeze the goaltender before he set up Bratt's first one, and then on that one, you see Hughes freeze right before he sends it over to Hughes there. And these are guys that freeze the goalie just like that, and the goaltender's got to honor the shot first, and it leaves the guy open. So
when you're moving the puck like that, and it's right in your wheelhouse for that one-time shot, you're absolutely right. I don't care who's in net.
Yeah.
Hicks, I mean, yeah, a little sloppy defensively from both teams, but when they're zipping the puck around like that, even some of the goals on Schmid, those are perfectly placed off the bar, and when you're moving it side to side, that's going to beat a lot of goaltenders.
And Dano, Jack Hughes said today, and I think it's an exciting point for Devils fans, you still haven't seen the Hughes line and the Heischer line together in a preseason game yet. They've been playing half and half, so you think about the talent that's already out here tonight, then you add in a Meyer, Heischer, Holtz line. Also haven't seen Dawson Mercer tonight. He's off along with Eric Hull and Andre Palat. There is some scary forward depth on this Devils group.
Quick strike ability, and that's something other teams are going to guard against this year. The Devils aren't going to take anybody by surprise this season.
Marino looking for three. His shot bounces off Bastian, who was net front trying to screen Sorokin. Comes the other way. Feels like Hicks for the Islanders kind of been a Jekyll and Hyde preseason. Had a very good performance against the Rangers a couple nights ago. That followed a rougher start where they fell behind big quick at Madison Square Garden. Solid defense against the Flyers, and then tonight kind of leaking oil again.
Yeah, and it's sort of come in spurts. They gave up a couple late goals in that Ranger game. Bang, bang. I think a group that's done a good job under Lane Lambert of not letting things slide like that, where you give up 3 goals in a matter of a few minutes. But again, it is preseason hockey. It's a different roster every single night. So you've seen some good, you've seen some bad, and the reality is probably somewhere right in the middle.
Yeah, they have that continuity when you have a different lineup every night. Preseason is preseason. It's to get prepared for the regular season, but you want to create good habits, right? Regardless who's in the lineup, create good habits going into the regular season. But it's been a fun game to watch because it's been up and down, both teams getting a lot of chances. I want to go back to DeFore for a second. You know, for the short time that I've seen him in a few games here and there, I love him. I think he's got a bright, bright future because he's big, he's strong, he can really shoot the puck. And those types of players are hard to find.
Yeah.
That kind of power forward guy that can skate, shoot, and bring that physicality as well. And I think he's got a big upside here for the Islanders.
You see him get a shot off there. This is a guy that's big, obviously. He's 6'2", and sometimes you come out of junior. Obviously, you're the big man. You're the boss. You can find your own space, and as you get to pro, you got to learn how to reestablish yourself and how to use that size. So I think it's going to be a growing process for him. I talked to Corey Schneider today. We were talking because he played with them all last year in Bridgeport, former Devils goaltender and Islanders goaltender. And
loved here in New Jersey as well.
He's loved, and I wanted to pick his brain as they come in here.
Hughes for Toffoli off the goal line. Nemitz no. Bratt is blocked in front. Aho got in the way.
Toffoli can't believe that didn't go in. Sorokin in desperation somehow just kept it out as it went by the left post.
And go back at him what Corey Schneider was telling you.
Yeah, he said he's a good player. It's going to take a little bit of time to understand defensively how you fit in, but he said his shot, it's an NHL shot. He's got the release already.
Brad across for Toffoli again. He rips. It is blocked once again by Aho, and then Bratt couldn't connect with Mayfield defending him. Aho's blocked 4 or 5 shots today. Give him the body up in the preseason.
He doesn't get a lot of credit for he sticks his nose in everything. He's a tiny guy, but always willing to take a hit to make a play, or he's blocking shots. He's doing all those little things. It doesn't really get noticed, but he's sort of one of those heart and soul guys that it doesn't come to mind that way, but he really is.
Hughes slides into the corner for Bastian. Obviously, Hicks, we have you here for your Islanders perspective, but you have the unique perspective that you were in a Lindy Ruff training camp last year, played with a lot of these guys. First off, firsthand, as we got some pushing and shoving here between these teams and the penalty coming, what's Lindy like these days as a coach?
I enjoyed it. I think we'll get to it after the break here as we see these guys go at it. And Bastian and Anders Lee, 2 guys that aren't afraid of that stuff.
All right, we'll give you a minute to think about it. We'll have your answer when we come back, and you can tell us a bit about your experience here in New Jersey last year. Devils clicking on offense, 8 goals combined. What a night.
These guys, I think you're going to start to take notice already. And you talked about Sebastian Aho, and I talked about him playing a lot bigger than he does. And he's a guy, he doesn't miss his shift. He'll take a beating, and he's always right back out there.
Yeah, he's got his hand looked at by the training staff, but has his glove back on, looks ready for his next shift as we've got a battle here off the face-off. Puck comes all the way around to Luke Hughes. And all right, now we'll let you talk about your experience here with Lindy Ruff and with this Devils group last year, too.
Yeah, that was a great experience for me, and I think the reason I'm up here is because I had some good closure. I came to camp and was treated really well by Lindy and Tom Fitzgerald and the whole staff. And the one thing about Lindy that stood out for me, it's just a consistent guy. He didn't get too high, he didn't get too low. He's got a method and obviously well respected from the amount of time that he's coached in the league and played in the league, but just a guy that was real consistent to me, and that's what stood out. And I think that's why this team has the attitude that it does. You mentioned they're able to bounce back pretty quickly, and I think he's a big part of that.
Devils are on the power play after Brock Nelson was called for a penalty at the break. Stick handles from Bratt down for Toffoli, slides it back through the slot, and it is cleared out on a pitchfork by Casey Cizikas.
Well, it might have been one too many passes. Having said that, it's been pretty to watch how they can move the puck around with the Hughes, Toffoli's, Bratts. And you're right, Bill. I think he had a great year last year, Jesper, and 70-plus points. But the way he's looked in training camp, it looks like he's wanting to go to another level even.
Yeah, it feels like a point-per-game type of season incoming for Jesper Bratt this year. 39 seconds left on the power play. Tice Thompson slings it for Jack Hughes, comes right back to Tice Thompson again. And he's played each night of the preseason trying to earn a spot onto this team. Cizikas couldn't get it out. Luke Hughes keeps it in. Now Jack Hughes working down, pulls it back, and rings it off the iron. Almost made Cizikas pay for not getting it down the ice.
What a nice little cut back to the middle, little patience, hold on to that puck, pull it back, and the quick release through a screen so Sorokin can't see that quick shot. Goes off the post, yes, but Jack Hughes continues to marvel us at times, Hicks, and it started, probably a year and a half ago, and all last season where he's starting to take his game to be that elite offensive player.
McLeod blasts it wide, back to even strength. One more question while we have you up here in the booth this period. Obviously, you had to start to learn the Devils system last year, and Lindy Ruff has a bit of a unique system for his defensemen. It's one thing Colin Miller's talked about, is adjusting to that and feeling like each day getting a little bit more comfortable, but you're not expecting it to take right away. What's the challenge of learning a new system? Someone like Miller, who's been in the league for a while, but coming here for the first time.
Yeah, it's be ready to be aggressive, be ready to swarm in the defensive zone. There's no waiting around for the other team to get set up. It's get everyone involved and get into a small little corner of the ice. And for the Devils, it worked really well last year. I think there were questions of how good they'd be defensively, and they were really good because they're obviously a quick, fast skating team, but they close really quickly and they don't give you any time at all. So I think you just got to be prepared as soon as that puck gets in the D zone. If you're Colin Miller, get ready to go, get ready to defend, or you're going to have someone else right behind you.
McLeod to the front. Lazar took a whack at it, and it went into the corner. May have bounced off Sorokin on the way. Michael McLeod slow to get up behind the play. Final 30 seconds of this second period. Nice pass from Barzal right to the tape of Engvall, fighting through Colin Miller. Engvall keeps it as Miller tries to bring him into the boards. Puck down to Bo Horvat. Final 20 seconds of the frame. Barzal corralling. Missiel shadowing him. Pulock bluffed. Drops it back. Barzal feeds Pulock again. A wrist shot through Schmidt. Had it pop up into his mitt and freezes with 6.4 to go. You're going to be on your way back to the intermission desk, and then we'll hear from you more during the third period. But if you look at the Islanders about 8 days, 9 days away from the start of the regular season, what do you feel like they have settled best right now, and what are their biggest areas where they need to sharpen up between now and next week when they count?
Well, it's this group. How many goals could you score? I think that's the power play. We've mentioned that needs to improve. This group is sort of built from the crease on out, and you understand that is maybe don't try to rely on your goalie quite as much, and they found it at certain times last year. I think for them, it's going to be, can they get the goals? Can they score when they need to? And obviously, you know, you're going to take care of it in your own end with the goaltender that you have. So I think those are things that are.
Welcome back to Devils Hockey, presented by RWJ Barnabas Health, the official healthcare provider of the New Jersey Devils. There is Kenneth Appleby, takes over for Ilya Sorokin, who gave up 5 goals on 18 shots. But in Sorokin's defense, maybe one he could have saved. The Devils just whipping pucks around, making it very hard on him. Oh, there's a goal for the Islanders right out of the chute. Matt Barzal off the feed from Bo Horvat. It's 5-4.
I was starting with a big hit on Marino from their captain, Anders Lee. Heavy on the forecheck. Islanders create a turnover, and just like that, 11 seconds into the third period, Islanders cut the lead by 1 to 5-4 Devils, and they get a step closer with the quick release from, there's the hit I'm talking about from Anders Lee. Horvat following up. Beautiful saucer pass to Barzal, right off the glove. Schmid got a little piece of it. Barzal's wide open in front. And a real nice goal by that line for New York.
Second goal for Barzal. Dan, it hasn't been a game for either of the goalies to really get a rhythm. They've been left out to dry by some looser than you'd want defense here on both sides. I think both these coaches are going to have plenty to talk about on the defensive side of the ice heading to tomorrow's practice and training camp.
Hey, for us, it's been a blast because there's been a lot of high-end chances from both teams. Having said that, you're right. Sometimes a game can take on, you know, this type of offensive firepower. We don't expect it all the time between these two teams, but that's just kind of the way it's gone in this one. Yeah, goaltenders certainly don't like it. You got 2 good goaltenders in net. I know Sorokin's out for the third period, but they were bombarded, right?
Yeah. And now Kenneth Appleby, who has 3 career NHL games, spent most of last year in the ECHL, steps into the net against this Devils offense that's been clicking right now. Participate in the Countdown to Puck Drop sweepstakes presented by Citizens, doing exclusive prizes leading up to the start of the 23-24 season. Also, when you enter for a chance to win, you'll gain access to save 13% off select Devils games this season. To enter, visit NewJerseyDevils.com/countdown.
I just quickly want to say, Bill, it was real nice having Thomas Hickey.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's his, I don't know what, third year in the booth.
Year, yeah.
Second year in the booth. And I really enjoy talking hockey with him. I also do it on my other gig, and he's on once in a while there too now, is on the network for the NHL. But you know, he's got a real good mind for the game. Yep. And he's settling in very nicely in his new role in the booth and covering the Islanders, and he's just got a real good look, I think, and take on a lot of things with the young guys as well.
Curtis Lazar's shot kicked away. Talking to Lazar, he's really excited about this year. It was tough for him last year. Got traded, he was banged up, never really healthy end of the season, and hard to adjust when you're banged up and with a new team. Now he's got time in the system. His family's here with him, which wasn't the case last year as well, and he's healthy. Seems primed to have a big role in this group.
Yeah, I think sometimes we have a tendency, or everybody does, to forget these guys have families. Tough to get acclimated to a new team, new system, new surroundings, new state, whatever it may be in city. But it doesn't happen overnight that you have that huge impact right away. But there's a lot of guys. I mean, even Timo Meier, now he's settled with the long-term deal. Lazar really likes his team, understands his role here. Palat's healthy. These guys are going to be, I thought they did a lot of great things last year. I think it's going to be much, much better this year now that they're comfortable in their surroundings.
Yeah, and Palat said similar things. He said, you know, last year he and his wife and his daughter were getting used to everything. Plus he was injured. Now they come back from the summer. They know where everything is. They're all settled in here. They know all the people here, and that makes life a lot easier. Remember the jump that Dougie Hamilton took from year 1 2 years ago to last year when he had a record-setting season, more than 70 points last year.
And that can make this Devils team even that much more dangerous with those guys who are high-end players, and a guy like Curtis Lazar. The importance, we talked about at the opening here, Bill, of depth players that just play the game the right way, pay attention to details. Coaches love that as far as finishing your check, winning a board battle consistently. That's the kinds of things Lazar brings. Palat brings a lot of offense as well and big-time clutch goals, but these guys just play the game the right way.
And Tomas Nosek, another guy who fits in that category, out there with Michael McLeod and Nate Bastian. Could be a possible fourth-line combination as the year rolls along. Again, with Lazar battling for time there. And then you think there's one more forward spot probably up for grabs. Number of guys fighting for it, like Nolan Foote, Tice Thompson, Graham Clark. Here is the top line again. Toffoli, Bratt, and Hughes. They've combined for 7 points already tonight. 2 goals and assists for Jesper Bratt, a goal and an assist for Jack Hughes, 2 assists for Tyler Toffoli tonight. John Marino, who scored twice, has the blue line. Hughes comes back to help sweep it away. Marino along the dashers, centers for Toffoli. It ricochets off his skate into the corner. Kevin Ball settles it down there. Marino to the slot. Bratt's free again, and he rips it home! It's a Jesper Bratt preseason hat trick!
I hope he's saving some of those as well, Bill, but you mentioned to me he's just feeling that confident, that good about his game right now in preseason, and he's going to carry it right into the regular season. This line is unstoppable in this hockey game, and they regain the 2-goal lead again with good puck movement. Jack Hughes up at the top of the blue line under pressure, subtly makes a little flip pass to Marino. It all was going well, and that sets up a wide open Bratt as Marino gets that puck D to D and finds Bratt, and he rips a wrister in one motion past the glove hand of Appleby to give the Devils a 6-4 lead.
It's a 4-point night for Bratt, 3 goals and an assist. A 3-point night now for Marino, 2 goals and an assist. And Kevin Ball picks up his 2nd assist of the night as well. I mean, Bratt is just all alone there in the slot.
And prior to this, again, when I was talking about Jack Hughes and Marino with a little give and go, Hughes is under pressure. He makes, it's not easy as it looks. He makes it look so easy where he makes a little fake move, gets to Marino, jumps back in the hole. That kept the play alive to allow the Devils to get some open ice there, and Bratt rips it upstairs.
Sal, I know you were talking about it during the intermission, but it is amazing already how this line that's been together for 2 weeks, starting with practice number 1, already is so dangerous.
Well, it is, and what you can't see through the TV screen is how fast they are actually moving, and the execution of the passing, and knowing where everybody's going to be before that person almost seems they know where they're going in. That just shows you their ability to make not only just a good play, but the best play. And it's spectacular to watch. And like you said, Dano, hopefully they're not using all those goals up right now.
I think they're determined. And that trio, what's training camp about? Chemistry, feeling comfortable with your line mates, you know, having eyes in the back of your head as far as you know exactly where he's going to be, what you mentioned, Bill.
Lazar's shot is gobbled up by Appleby and into the corner. Well, that's the thing, again, I think why Toffoli fits so well with Bratt and Hughes. When you talk to Jesper Bratt, he says he's got the smarts, the vision, he sees the same lanes that they see. So even though he might not be as fast as Hughes and Bratt in terms of skating speed, he gets to all the right spots because he sees the game like they do.
I'm not sure that would be a good thing if you had all 3 burners on the ice, speed burners, shall I say. Not that Toffoli doesn't get up and down pretty well, because I liked his breakaway against the Rangers where he showed a little burst. But having said that, it's about thinking the game. It's about having different elements on a line to make it work. So far anyway, and it's only preseason, these guys are feeling pretty comfortable about their game, and they enjoy playing with each other.
It's a big year for Toffoli. It's the final year of his contract that was started in Calgary. Sounded like Calgary wasn't ready to extend him right away, so he wanted a fresh start somewhere else and has said that he'd love to be here long term and see how he fits into these Devils' plans moving forward. What we can tell you right now, he fits in, seems perfectly with Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt.
Yeah, he's already mentioned I'd love nothing more to have a good year and be here for a while. I think he's mentioned, but look, let's take one step at a time, but certainly he looks like he's going to fit in very well. I just like the experience factor too. You can never underestimate a guy that's gone 4 rounds, won a Stanley Cup. He did it as a youngster, and he learned from the Kopitars, the Dowdies, the Dustin Browns, and now he can lend that experience and knowledge to the young Devils here that haven't been through it as far as, you got to make the playoffs first, but it's about understanding how tough it is to continue to advance and actually achieve your ultimate goal, win a cup.
And he said now that it's been about a decade, he really gets the appreciation for how hard that is. You come in as a rookie, you win right away, you think, oh, I'm going to do this a ton.
Absolutely.
Now you know how hard it is, and he knows what it takes. There's John Marino, 3-point night. He's never had a multi-goal game in the regular season. He has 2 tonight. Tomas Nosek had it knocked away. Nate Bastian battling, and Bastian trying to catch up to everybody else. He was cleared just at the start of camp to start participating in practice again, coming back from an offseason shoulder surgery. This is his first game of the preseason. So he even said he knew it would be a little bit just getting his legs back tonight, whereas the other guys have all played a couple of times already.
He's done a good job, Nate. I mean, obviously he wants to, you're right, get back to the flow, feel good. It's not always easy when you're coming back from injury. And, these guys push each other. We talk about depth, right, Bill? And not a lot of jobs open. This Devils team, the more depth you have, it just keeps everybody on their toes that we got to perform on a nightly basis during the regular season, because there's other guys that can step right in and have an impact or be part of the big club.
Here they come again. Hughes dancing through. Backhanded pass. Bounces off a defenseman. Gets to Brad. He feeds Daniil Misiul. Now to Foley. Cross the ice. Colin Miller holds there. Glides it to Misiul again. Miller and Misiul playing together for the second straight period as Nemitz and Hughes have been paired together in periods 2 and 3. Misiul slides it back. Bratt moves it to Jack Hughes. Crossover step. He spins in the corner away from Barzal. His pass goes right through the slot. Misiul's there. Good long offensive shift again for the Devils. Miller down low for Hughes. Patient as well, not forcing anything here. Bratt behind the net to Hughes again. Finds some pressure there from Aho, and then Mayfield dumps Hughes down. Gives him an extra cross check behind the play. Will not have a penalty called as the Islanders escape the zone.
You know what? They were getting a little frustrated, and I understand why, because the Hughes to Foley Bratt line was really toying with the Islanders. They have a lot of this game, and I understand. Mayfield wants to make them pay the price a little bit. Devils up 6-4. We'll be back.
Stay out of their own zone for long, extended periods of time. I think that tonight, especially against the Bratt line, has been the big story. So I think that's something they want to clean up. But still a little bit of hockey, and there's lots of goals tonight. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, it should be an exciting finish here, guys.
All right, Erica, thank you. To Hicks' point, shots are now 22-12. At one point, they were 5-5. So the Devils have 17 of the game's last 24 shots as they've built a 6-4 lead.
And if you're the Islanders, the good news is they've capitalized on their opportunities. Everybody talked about, well, where the goal's going to come from. Do they have enough offense? They've scored 4 goals in 12 shots. Barzal's had a big night offensively, and he's had a couple of goals and had chances. So they expect, or I certainly expect him to have a big year and be a big factor for the Islanders, which is going to make them that much more dangerous.
Yeah, and I think important to put a few caveats out here. It is still the preseason, so the Devils are playing without the Hischier, Meyer, Holtz line tonight, without what's likely the third line of Haula, Palat, and Mercer. Islanders icing a lot of their guys, but a very veteran team that sometimes in the preseason, you're just trying to get to the regular season healthy, so you can't read everything into these games. You want to see the good puck movement the Devils have had, but probably a different game when these teams play on October 24th in regular season.
There's no question, Bill, and we were talking about there. I said, I've been through it where at times you just can't wait for the clock to tick fast enough, and as you get closer and closer to the regular season, if you're a veteran and a bunch of veteran guys in there, they're going, look, you're still going to try to play hard, but it's preseason. And the game, the wins, losses don't mean a lot. You want to get good habits during preseason. A lot of times you go, I just want to get through this game and get ready for the regular season. Enough's enough.
Nosek tried to poke it away, but Horvat came clean. His shot goes just wide.
What a nifty move there by Horvat.
Does have an assist today on Barzal's most recent goal. Mayfield blast looking for a Barzal deflection. That ricocheted just wide. Colin Miller moving it behind net to Daniil Misiul. Miller's probably got 1, maybe 2 more preseason games to really try and get himself comfortable in this new system. Again, a veteran who's been really reliable for about a decade in the NHL.
And again, there's always an adjustment period, right? You hope a veteran who's played as many games as Colin Miller will be able to, really get it quickly.
Oh, Horvat around Hughes. His pass was just behind Barzal. Martin trailing the play, and there's Akira Schmid's best save of the night.
And that's important as well. You want to see Schmid make a couple of big saves because there hasn't been a whole lot of defense from either side and a lot of good chances. That was a big save as he fought it off with his glove there. Horvat's line with Barzal, they've had a spark here throughout this game. They've made some things happen offensively. They've already got a few goals and almost another one there.
Yeah, I think there's still a question of who's going to be on the wing of that line with Horvat and Barzal. Simon Holmstrom was there on Saturday, Anders Lee tonight, but it does seem like those two are really jiving at the start of this season as Schmid will cover up in tight. 8:22 to go in the third. Devils still on top by 2.
To put them on the ice here and see, can they defend this lead and get some of those reps and some of the experience that'll go a long way for helping their development. We got Christina here about to take the face-off, and so case in point, this is a big face-off. You see that the Islanders are starting to get a little momentum here. Can you win it like the Devils do? But now it's those little plays right there. You got to win those 50-50. You got to win the blue lines. Smart, hard plays.
All right, Sal, thank you. And, I think on top of the Devils' depth, that depth is also going to help the Devils develop at the AHL level. Utica could have a very deep forward group with some of these depth pieces that'll spend some time down there as well, and that helps the younger players in Utica playing with veterans as well. Colin Miller rips his shot in, and Kenneth Appleby makes the save. 2 more preseason games to come for the Devils. The regular season gets going a week from Thursday. Our friends at ESPN will have that one on ESPN Plus against the Red Wings. Then we're with you the following night, the first of 16 back-to-backs for the Devils this year. That's a league-leading 16 back-to-backs. Take on the conference champion Florida Panthers on Monday, and then these Islanders after 3 days off on Long Island to round out the first 2 weeks of the season.
Like a lot of people can't wait till it gets going here, and the Devils have had themselves a successful preseason thus far. Like I said, the games and points don't mean anything, but when you play to win, and you get good habits like Bryce was talking about, paying attention to detail, and now that you're leading by 2, that's something you want to see because you want to carry it over in the regular season. Make the right play.
Yep.
Don't have to take big risks. If the puck's along the wall, chip it out, even in a preseason game, because you want to do that, and it becomes instinctual during the regular season.
I mentioned those 16 back-to-backs. It's going to be a very interesting schedule for the Devils. Obviously, 16 back-to-backs puts some strain back-to-back on the players, but because of that, there are also a lot more stretches where the Devils will have 2 or 3 nights off in a row during the year to help with recovery. Think of last February and March. Devils played basically every other night. I think in March they played 17 games. They don't have a stretch like that this year because, you got a back-to-back, but then say you've got Tuesday and Wednesday off before you play Thursday and Friday. So we'll see how that plays out for the Devils this year.
Yeah, and that's where depth comes in, right? You can play different guys and use the extent of your roster if need be. This is a young group that has a lot of energy. We saw that last year, Bill, so they can play through tough parts of the season when it's 3 and 4 nights and you grind it out, but that's when you need 23, maybe 24, 25 guys even calling guys, especially with injuries from Utica, and you need guys that can play and help you win.
You got a penalty coming on Nate Bastian, so the Islanders will go to the power play for the second time tonight.
There's 6:47 left in the game. Bastian going off, trail by 2, and they get right back in it with a power play goal here if they do happen to score.
New Jersey number 14 has a 2-minute
Devils get to work on their
holding.
penalty kill, and the Islanders, you mentioned they want to improve on their power play, and they've got some pretty deadly personnel. Barzal's look sharp here tonight.
It's a holding call on Bastian, just enough of that right hand on the young speedster Ishikov to draw the penalty.
Yeah, no question. That you use that loose hand. That's a hold. They got Wallstrom out here. Look for him to try to get in a little bit of open space. He's got a wicked shot.
Wallstrom
really risked it.
Yeah, Wallstrom, Barzal, Horvat, Aho, and Nelson, the first unit. Again, probably the only change come opening night would be Dobson in Aho's spot. Otherwise, you're likely looking at the first unit right here. Thomas Hickey talked a lot about gaining the zone. The Islanders do it well this time. Comes up to Nelson. He rings it off the post. He was free in the slot.
Nelson, another Islander that can really shoot the puck.
Had a great season last year. Brock Nelson, 36 goals, 39 assists.
Now you don't want to give him that kind of time and space because he can beat a goalie clean from distance.
Wahlstrom tries to jam it in. Akira Schmidt is there and makes his 12th save of the night. Tomas Nocek clears it down.
See the subtle little intelligence of John Marino. The puck's against the wall. After the Islanders get a good chance, they're converging on him. He already knows what he's going to do with the puck before he gets it. And he finds the forward penalty killer there. I can't remember who it was, but with a perfect pass.
Nocek. Yep.
Nocek, I mean,
Yep.
with a perfect pass with no time really to handle it.
Here's Pulock moving it to Engvall, second unit out. Pulak's shot got through to Schmid and he kicked it out. Now it's Ishikov, had 17 goals, 34 assists in Bridgeport last year. Islanders really like him. Dufour's shot blocked by Jesper Bratt, who has talked about wanting to kill penalties this year, and if he is killing more penalties, again, another dynamic threat to go the other way shorthanded.
Yeah, he's got that explosiveness to certainly get a few shorties along the way if the opportunity presents itself and he gets out on that penalty kill. He can do a little bit of it all right now with the way he's been going in preseason, and he wants to continue to grow his game, right?
McLeod clears this one. That is it for the penalty. Islanders fall to 0 for 2 on the power play. One shot this time around for New York.
Yeah, pretty good power play though. Spent time in the Devil's zone, hit a post, so they came close.
Now it's Gauthier centering, tried to get it to Cizikas. It was broken up there. Marino bumped off the puck, working it ahead toward Jack Hughes. Matt Martin took it away from him, but Hughes swipes it right back and whirls around. Goal and an assist today for Jack Hughes through 3 preseason games. He has 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points. NHL Network ranked him the 11th best player in the NHL. That came out yesterday. I think you can make a pretty compelling argument to put him in the top 10, and by the end of this year, I don't really think it's going to be an argument anymore, Dano.
Look, regardless of where, it's all a matter of opinion where they rank him, and that's pretty high praise for a young player like Jack Hughes, although he's entering his 5th season, which I can't believe how, as they say, time flies. It just doesn't feel it, right? And he's still, what, only 22 years old.
Yeah, you started 18 years old. You get those 5 years pretty quickly.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Bill.
Aho, off a deflection and in. Not sure Schmidt ever saw it. It's a 1-goal game as Sebastian Aho scores.
You're absolutely right. It hit something.
May have hit Anders Lee because he's claiming it.
Up top is Aho with a quick, hard wrist shot. And we've had 11 goals in this hockey game. Still 3:37 left. Time for the Islanders to try to get the equalizer, but they get that loose puck up front. And yeah, Anders Lee, you see him. He's as good as it gets at changing directions of pucks, and he gets a piece of that. I want to see if he gets it with his stick. One more look at it, or it hits him. Oh yeah, that's just a great redirection with his shaft of his blade just below. Shaft of his stick just below the blade.
That was the Nemitz and Hughes defensive pairing out there. And again, that's high risk, high reward, but nobody found the big man in the middle there defensively.
Yeah, and you've got an, and look, that's all part of it during the regular season. When you got an Anders Lee in the high slot, you want to get close to him as you can and tie that stick up. And like I said, he's got great hand-eye coordination, and he makes this a game. And what a game it's been. It's been a tough night for goaltenders, but not all their fault, to tell you the truth, because there's been deflections, great plays, quick puck movement side to side, that they really haven't had an opportunity to make any saves.
I don't think Schmid's let in a bad goal tonight. He's given up 5, and all of them have been A-grade opportunities for the Islanders, and you could make the same argument for the 5 goals that Ilya Sorokin gave up. Maybe one, the Bratt 5-hole goal he'd want back, but the other 4, really not ones he had any chance on.
You want a little firepower and offense? We've seen it here in this preseason game. 11 goals, 2:45 left. Devils hanging on to a 6-5 lead.
Devils came into tonight through the first 4 preseason games. They'd only given up 6 total goals. They've given up 5 tonight, but they've also scored 6, so they lead with 2:30 to go in the 3rd period. Let's see when Kenneth Appleby is pulled by Lane Lambert.
Big Kevin Ball, and Horvat crashed along the wall just inside the Devil zone. Horvat was looking at the ref for a possible interference call, but the refs let it go.
McLeod cycles this one behind looking for Bastian. Aho stands his ground against Big Bass and moves the puck That's what Hicks was talking about, taking a hit to make the play, and Matt Barzal comes the other way. Anders Lee has got it again. Kenneth Appleby is headed off. Extra attacker out for the Islanders inside of 2 minutes to play on this Monday night preseason showdown. Romanov up top. Wahlstrom at the dot. Jack Hughes sweeps it away from him. Hughes sees that open cage in front. Knocks it back to Misule. Wahlstrom steps up and breaks up the play with 100 seconds to go in the third.
Islanders did a good job of quickly closing on Jack Hughes, or he was going to dipsy doodle through the neutral zone and probably have an open net look.
Colin Miller standing up. Brock Nelson holding Nelson up and holding the puck against the boards as the clock winds to 1:18 seconds to go. Well done by Miller to just melt the clock away down here with 3 Islanders trying to dig it out. Finally, Miller's knocked to his tush and the puck rolls to Barzal. Horvat holds with 65 seconds to go. Net still empty for the Islanders. Misule goes down, running into Lee. From behind, a hit from Toffoli will play on. Nelson moves it. He gets it back again at the high point. All the way across Barzal to the slot. Wahlstrom shoots. Kick save. Schmid rebounds there. Nelson shoots. And Schmid got it again.
And now we got a little ruckus to the side of Akira Schmid, who just made a couple of spectacular saves to keep it a 6-5 game.
Dano, I feel like that personifies Akira Schmid right there. He is not having a great night, but he stays so cool that in crunch time he comes up with 2 big saves.
Yeah, one save there off Wahlstrom on a beautiful feed from Barzal, and then the left arm, glove hand, knocks down Brock Nelson, who's got all kinds of time in the high slot with the goaltender out. There's the first save off Wahlstrom off the feed from Barzal. Comes back to Nelson, and in desperation, Kieran Schmid knocks it down and covers up.
Lane Lambert and the Islanders take timeout. This timeout is brought to you by your local Honda dealer. You know, you like this in the preseason. Sure, you'd love to win games by blowouts, but you like to get to practice things situationally. Devils had a 3-on-3 overtime game against the Flyers a couple nights ago, and now they work against the empty net. And the extra attacker here is Ryan McGill in one huddle. Islanders working on the other side, see what they'll set up with their 6. And what McGill will send out with the Devils 5.
I think you nailed it. You get to work on situations that come up regularly during the regular season. So Islanders have fought back. Devils have had a 2-goal lead a couple of times in this game. Islanders started the game with a 2-0 lead. And now with 44 seconds left, face off to the right of Schmid. Goaltender out for the Islanders for the extra attacker.
Devils go with Michael McLeod, who was 3rd in the league in face-off percentage last year, but Bo Horvat wins the draw back to Matt Barzal. So the Islanders are set up. Pulock sliding for Barzal. Pulock gets it back again, shoots it through traffic, deflected just wide. It was Lee again who got his stick on it. Horvat's pass too hot to handle for Pulock, and now McLeod puts the pressure on. The McLeod Bastion no check line out there defensively with 20 seconds to play. Horvat driving hard, jabbed wide by Lee. Puck toward the dasher. Wahlstrom takes it high slot. He shoots. Bastion blocks. On the rebound, Lee hacks at it. No. He gets it back with 9 seconds left. Bastion bangs him down. McLeod sends it forward. Pulock knocks it down. Final 3 seconds. Islanders need to get onside. Horvat flips it forward, and there is the horn. Oh, that was fun. How about 70 plus more of those moving forward this year? A 6-5 win for the Devils here in a wild one in the preseason.
And the Devils remain hot as the preseason is. They go 5-0, but it was an exciting one. Entertaining hockey game. Yeah, the goaltenders might beg to differ, Bill, but I thought it was a lot of fun. Islanders kept battling back. Barzal, that line, Horvat, had a real strong game to lead the way for them. And Jesper Bratt, Jack Hughes, and Toffoli were absolute dynamite. Along with that man, John Marino, with an offensive explosion and a couple of goals in this one.
3 goals for Bratt, 2 for Marino. Jack Hughes scores the 6th for the Devils. They move to 5-0 this preseason. They'll play the Rangers on Wednesday night. We'll have that coverage for you 7 o'clock right here in the same place. And then Friday, they'll wrap up the preseason on the island against these Islanders once again.
You don't see it too often. Undefeated so far anyway in preseason. Like I said, it doesn't add up in the standings, but when you get out there, you always want to feel good about winning in different fashion, different ways. You mentioned, Bill, there's going to be different situations during the regular season. This was a hard-fought, entertaining game, and they had to hang on at the end where they defended a 6-on-5 with a lot of firepower the Islanders had in their lineup tonight.
They put 5 past Ilya Sorokin on 18 shots, had 1 past Kenneth Appleby for a 6-5 win. Time now for our 3 stars of the game. Got a lot of folks to choose from when you score 6 goals.
3 stars of the game as chosen by members of tonight's attending media.
And the 3rd star looks like it's going to be Jack Hughes.
With 1 goal and 1
Got a goal and an assist in a couple plays where he started goals but didn't end up with assists as well, but his play started the process.
The 2nd star from the Devils with 2 goals and 1 assist. Number 6,
become accustomed to seeing
Marino.
Jack Hughes and Marino with a big night.
2 goals and an assist for John Marino. He's the 2nd star. And the first star tonight is Jesper Bratt.
Well, we're in Jersey tonight, and we're going to give it to our 3 guys, but I think Barzal could have been one of those guys as well. But Bratt's certainly deserving of that first star in this preseason game.
3 goals and an assist, so a preseason hat trick for Jesper Bratt, and that means he gets to join Erica now.
Jesper, congratulations. A preseason hat trick for you. What does it mean to be back here in front of the home fans and, of course, give them a bit of a show here with that hattie?
Oh, it's awesome. Obviously, being back here and playing in front of the home crowd, it's great. So we're excited for the season to start, and it was a fun game today, and we walk away with another win.
So much fun watching you play alongside Jack Hughes and Tyler Toffoli. That line combination creating a lot of chemistry already. For you individually, though, do you feel like you're ready to take your game to just yet another level? 4 points tonight.
Yeah, it was a great summer, and I got to work on all the small things that I had to work on from the previous season, and obviously getting on the ice now with Toffoli and Jack has been awesome, and we have a lot of fun together playing, and I think it's going to be a hell of a season.
We know it's preseason hockey, but you guys are now undefeated, 5-0 with 2 more exhibition games to play. How much confidence does that give this team, who made a big splash a season ago, going into this season opener in just over a week?
Obviously, it's an exciting starting the season with wins, and we trust the process a lot that we're setting here in New Jersey, and we started from day 1 at camp, and it's been a lot of fun, like I said, and we're excited for this thing to start for real.
Congrats, Jesper.
Thank you.
All right, Erica, thank you. And yeah, I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun watching Jesper Bratt, Tyler Toffoli, and Jack Hughes play together here in Jersey this season. We'll step aside when we come back. More here from The Rock as we break down a Devils 6-5 win over the Islanders.
At Jersey Mike's, they slice your sub right in front of you. All that meat and cheese just for me. Watching that takes me to my happy place. Oh, wait. Jersey Mike's is my happy place. Kelly, did I place an order here in my happy place?
Not yet, Danny.
Then I'm going back to reality.
Number 7 for Danny.
Oh, thanks, reality, Kelly. Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
Neither snow-capped mountains nor puddles of water, nor unexpected detours with a 20-foot drainage pipe can stop the ruggedly capable Telluride X Pro from getting you to your dinner reservation on time.
Okay.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Target Circle Week, here now through October 7th with Target Circle member-only deals. Save on toys you want, groceries you need, styles you love, and so much more. Don't miss out on Target Circle Week. Join now for free at Target.com to start saving.
At Morgan Stanley, old school hard work meets bold new thinking. To help you see untapped possibilities and relentlessly work with you to make them real.
Signs help us navigate our world. Signs keep us on course, headed in the right direction, excited about upcoming events, and punctuate important moments in our lives. Signs build brands, create connections, and define purpose. Signs speak with strength to communities, guests, clients, and customers. Signs create impact and grab attention like no other medium can. For over 3 decades with locations throughout the world, Signorama is the way to grow your business.